Hi, this is Greg Johnson with Blue Book Services. I'm joined today by Greg Gatzke, President of ZAG Technical Services. And this is the end of National Cybersecurity Awareness Month. Greg has written a few columns on our site to talk to our audience about the importance of cybersecurity, especially as it relates to the fresh produce industry. So that's why I want to talk to you today about, Greg. What would you say are the biggest current threats right now to a fresh produce company?
Thank you, Greg. Great question. So the attacks today come in three styles, and two of them are significantly more business related than IT related. So even the non-IT people can help with them. The first is ACH fraud, where they come in and they pose as your vendor and say, "We've changed our bank. Please send your payments to this bank," and it gets redirected to them. And that's a situation where the organization can create policies in place where they call a known good number to validate any of those changes. So that's the number one. We see that upwards of, six figures in losses for organizations, but it's redirecting payments to the criminal bank instead of their own. The second is the one that you hear about all the time. It's the ransomware, where they come in, they get into your system, and they basically lock everything. And then they threaten you with they have you pay a ransom in order to unlock them. So that is the one that you're hearing the most about. That's been in the news, things like that. That can go in the millions. And so that, and more as important, it can take you down for, period of time as you recover. And the third is where before they lock everything down, they will come in and they'll try to find personal identifiable information or intellectual property, and they'll take that out and then they'll publish a little bit of it on the dark web, and they'll threaten you that if you don't pay them, they'll release everything. And that'll lead to, badness from a legal standpoint. That one is another one where IT plays a role, but the business, HR, other people really need to go in, review the environment, make sure that they don't have reports there that have that kind of bad data, or not bad data, but personal identifiable information type data sitting on servers. If you remove it, it reduces the risk. So those are the three main.
Okay, those are the three main ones. What would you tell a produce company who would say, we feel like we're too small and would fly under the radar and no one would even notice us in order to perpetrate one of these three different kinds of attacks on us?
What I would tell them is they are attacking everyone. They are attacking everyone. They do it with just scanning the internet, things like that. They don't put thought into who you are. They don't care who you are. They're attacking hospitals. They're attacking small businesses. They're attacking large businesses. It is a significant risk. The problem is the smaller businesses, their failure rate after the attack is much higher because they don't have the depth and protection of it. So I would say absolutely you are at risk.
Well, I guess the easiest question now is, what can a produce company do about that? Like what kind of investments should they make?
I would say the first thing you need to do is acknowledge that you are dependent upon IT. Too many people say, we'll just go back to paper. We've always done it. My father did it. Those days have passed. You can't print labels. You can't produce. You can't pay people without IT. So acknowledge that you're an IT company ultimately. Number two would be put processes in place. Make sure PI is not on your network. That's a huge thing. It's bigger than people think. Make sure you have your finance accounting teams have the right policies in place to protect yourself from things like ACH fraud. And then finally, implement multi-factor authentication. Your kids when they go into Google email, they get a text saying, is this you? Don't let your kids be protected, but your enterprise or your business not be protected. Implement MFA, patch your systems, and have people review your security risk and identify where the problems are.
What kind of monetary and time investment would a company be looking at to start implementing some of these processes?
So it varies depending on the process. Some of them, frankly, are free. Others are more expensive. So it depends. You know, security is it's a risk mitigation thing. So it's depending on how far you want to mitigate that risk. A normal security review is anywhere from $5,000 to $30,000 in that range, just ballpark, depending on the company. That's kind of a foundation. It can get expensive to do more advanced stuff, but there are so many things that you can do. You know, most people are on Office 365 or Gmail right now. You can turn on multi-factor authentication. You can stop, and that is already part of the service you're paying for. You can stop a lot of the phishing attacks with simple changes. There's a lot of things you can do for free, but there's a lot of things that, you know, get more expensive, but add a ton of value.
Well, I think it's really important to raise this awareness, and as we've seen, any company can be a victim. So I like the timing of this coming at the end of National Cybersecurity Awareness Month, but as we know, the security always has to keep going.
Absolutely, and thank you for your portion of, you know, helping get the word out there. People in this industry, in the ag industry, in the ag manufacturing industry, they are being impacted. Everyone knows it. Everyone's heard the stories. It's happening everywhere. The adversaries, the criminals, they don't care. They're just coming after us. We have to defend ourselves. So thank you.
I agree.